Hello friends, this is the second episode of Healthy Grief. That's what it said, call it. I never really said, so I'm doing a papaya today. I've already peeled it, so I'm gonna cut it up and de-seed it. I never really told you why I decided to do veggies and fruit. So kind of as coming into one. So just as with fruit, you need to nurture it to grow, feed it, give it water, give it sunlight, give it time. As we do with grief, we have to nurture it, we have to give it time. Even though that sometimes is the worst thing to hear, but you do have to give it time. You have to nurture yourself, talking about it, helping yourself, giving yourself space and grace to get through it. But yeah. So papaya today, I've had papaya before in things, but I've never cut it up like as a fruit at my home. So this is also, I've had some of these things that I will do, just have never like brought it home and cut it up myself. So let's cut this second. So they got a bitter ending. I'm not a huge fan. Oh, I feel bad. Okay. I will probably put this in a smoothie then. Anyways, let's go sit down and get cozy. All right. Also, I realized that papayas or just any fruit can, they're not always the same, and it's not in season, so that's probably why. But just didn't have much of a flavor and just was bitter at the end. But I will be damned if it goes to waste, so I will put it in smoothies. Don't worry. Today we're gonna talk more about my emotions and what I was going through towards the end, and then right after. I'm sorry if this is all over the place, but that's how grief is. That's how my mind is. I also didn't share with you. So my mom passed on December 3rd of 2017. So it's been 6 years, which is crazy to think. Ovarian cancer. She had ovarian cancer for 9 years. At the end, it went to her brain. It's not known. Well, they don't see it go to the brain because a lot of ovarian cancer patients don't last that long. So there was really nothing they could do for her at that point. Before she got really bad, we got a second opinion at CTCA. That is where I had my first anxiety attack. I've always had anxiety, but that was the first time I ever had an attack, and I had a couple more after that. So I finally went on anxiety meds. So my anxiety went through the roof after this got more serious, obviously. When she came home, or actually no, when she was in the hospital, like I said, her last holiday with us was Thanksgiving. That's why Thanksgiving kind of means so much to me, is because that was the last big thing that I had with her. We tried to do one treatment. It was radiation treatment in the hospital. She just wanted to try it. We didn't go down with her. My aunt did for it because we're like, oh, she'll be back. For some reason, that radiation caused her a ton of pain. And when she came back, she was in a ton of pain and she was no longer like verbal. That was really hard because we didn't realize, obviously, that was going to happen. She was already having slurring of speech and troubles walking before that because of the brain tumor. And she had gamma knife before that as well. But for some reason, this radiation just, I don't know if it just pissed off the tumor, but she could no longer talk to us. That really sucked. That was one of the things that I fought with the most, and I still do in my grief of, you know, why I put her through this in 9 years, and then at the end cause her to go through that too. Kind of like silent suffering that she can't tell us anything. That really pissed me off. What was the point of that? There was no point, but it is what it is. So she couldn't really verbalize with us. And the other thing too is because it was 9 years of fighting, we never, not saying it obviously wasn't expected, but we were always in the mindset of like, here it's back again, we'll fight it again, because she had 2 reoccurrences before this. I was like, all right, here we go again, let's go. So it was kind of like, even though it sucked and it took a toll on her body, I mean, my mom and we kind of thought she was invincible to this, like that she would every time kick its ass, because that's who she was, and she did too. That's why we had to get the second opinion at CTCA, which is the Cancer Treatment Center of America in Chicago, because she was not taking, that they couldn't do anything for an answer, which we got, but at the same time, we didn't want to waste her time that we had with her. We trusted the doctors at Mayo because we have been treated so well. I know sometimes that's not always the case. We were treated so well. We had doctors that we liked. There's a couple that we were like, let's try a different one. But there's no reason for us not to. And they're upfront with us. They're like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is the end of the road. So that aspect was really hard for us to wrap our mind around. And the fact that she was nonverbal and still like in denial when she became nonverbal was tough. Because then when she was home on hospice, there was all of a sudden, we kept her on pain meds and anxiety meds just to help keep her calm, keep pain at bay. And my sister had a spreadsheet and everything for like when we did it. Obviously nurses, hospice came, but so we could stay on top of it. To this day, I still have that spreadsheet. Can't bring myself to delete it, which is very, I need to talk to my therapist about that. I don't know why. So yeah, I still have that. But during that time, there was one evening, also, I think it was actually, it was evening. She woke up in a panic, trying to speak, which was a shock. And it sounded like she was saying, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, in a panic. So we rushed to get her the meds, and she finally calmed down. We cried with her and we said, I know, I'm so sorry, like, this is hard. So that was the only time that we ever like knew that she knew it was happening. And so again, I mean, everyone's different, but having it that way and not doing it while she was like verbal with us, like definitely cognitive, that was hard to see her panic like that towards the end. But in the end, she did go peacefully, which we were very thankful for. After she passed, so all of my sisters and I each went to counseling. I went to grief counseling first, and then I just kind of continued on. I will say there are group counseling, which is great. and I tried to explain this to my dad, I think it's very important that you go to one-on-one counseling. There are going to be like things that come through your mind that are horrible, but if you don't say them out loud, they're going to keep haunting you. So you hate to put that, but I liked grief or one-on-one therapy so I could say all those horrible things out loud and not have the consequences of my family or someone I might know in a group looking at me like I'm a horrible person. But I need to say it out loud to get it out. And I did. And I think that was very helpful, because sometimes if you say it out loud and you just cry about it, you know, it doesn't ring very true, but that thought just keeps staying with you. It's good to get those out. It really is. Especially when you witness someone die. That end of life scene always would haunt me and flash in my mind constantly. So talking to therapy, they were like, you have to stare at it. You have to look at it and stare it in the face. That's the only way it will go away. And with time it did. It was terrifying, but I had to stare it in the face so it would stop haunting me. So it would stop ruining pretty much my life and not being able to function. So that was, I did that within a couple months, I think. I will say too, the people, bringing food, man. People will say, you're functioning, but you're not with it. Again, the world is just moving on. You're trying, you're just, muscle memory is the only thing that's getting you by for a while. You're just doing what you know, trying to interact, but you're not really there. It's weird. You're like out of body experience for a while, trying to just get through that time. That's why therapy is kind of a must soon after, so it doesn't haunt you longer than needed. Yeah. I also end up going to family therapy for other reasons, but that's helpful too. A lot of times during the week I would just be thinking about my mom and something, and I'm like, just break down. I'm like, why am I not talking to my sisters? And then I would call my sisters and we were all thinking the same thing. It was crazy. Like, yeah, I had that thought too, like so upset, or like thinking about some random thing about her. And it was good to just talk to them about it. And I was like, why did I wait 2-3 days to even talk to you? Like, I should have just talked to you right away. We had that happen a lot. Like, I should have just talked to you right away because I was feeling the same thing. It's always good to continue talking about them. Even if you cry, you'll eventually smile, because talking about their memory keeps them alive for you. And it's just always so helpful to like reminisce, talking about things you love and did not love about them as well, that you can laugh at. My mom always said, make wise choices, or I said, you were acting stupid. We laugh at those a lot. She was a tough cookie, so yeah, it was hard when she passed, because she was a glue that kept us together that we didn't realize. So finding your family footing after that as well is tough, and who you are as a family without a physical presence of a family member is different. You have to, sadly, it takes years to figure out what your new dynamic is, how holidays are gonna go. If your mom was, or your loved one was anything like my mom, she did damn well with holidays. Christmas for me always was magical. So great. I love Christmas. Decorating for everything. She sent us like little care packages for like every holiday. Like I would get the popcorn factory when I was in college. She would send that for every like Valentine's Day, Easter, maybe not St. Patty's Day, but stuff like that. Like she was really good at that. Just like little things like that I try now with my girls. I try to make it the same for them because I love that. Just like, even I didn't even expect a gift, but just making everything really special. Just really celebrating it, getting into it, even if it was like stress clean and bake before, I still loved it. So those were my favorite. So I try to keep doing that. We try to keep doing that in honor of her and because we loved it. So, well, goodbye for today. Sorry, that was pretty heavy. I think it always is going to be. I don't know. Midwestern. I'm going to keep apologizing for everything. But hopefully this finds you well. And stay warm because it's going to get cold here in Minnesota. Bye.